Speaking of homing shenanigans, I should show you the sneaky things we've been up to with the primary projectile. Let's see. Again, fairly simple firing loop. We have a quick check to see if the player's kind of done the shooting tutorial, but that's a fossil from some of the early builds. On firing, we add heat, which is essentially playing a timeline. And then if you stop firing, it removes heat, which hits reverse from that point in time. We've then got some fun things like whether weapons are enabled. So this again is a bit of a fossil, since now we have the weapons fire slower and slower, rather than actually activating and deactivating, but good to have it in there anyway, just in case. You never know why we might need it. Again, very simple stuff here, like we have an array, which is essentially 2 arrow components on each wing. So the blueprint will then fire between the two of them. Now the fun stuff is somewhere around here. Okay. So what happens is that whenever the player is aiming, we always have a very small sphere trace component, or I guess capsule, but we use sphere since they function identically, tracing out ahead of the player's cursor, basically. What this means is that if the player's mouse is roughly on an enemy, we add a very subtle lock-on effect to our projectiles. This stops the player having to lead the enemy voids. Since the game is quite fast-paced and we got a lot of enemies, we felt that it wasn't really necessary to introduce that much predictive aiming on behalf of the player. The enemies just aren't on screen long enough for that to be a fun addition to the game. I'm not scared of that, it's already being used. And so yeah, essentially this is what means that if the player's reticule is on an enemy, you will hit them. Which for the arcadey feel we're going for, I think was quite a nice compromise. Another issue as well was that because the player's able to drastically change their speed, it would be almost impossible for the player to accurately predict how far ahead they'd have to aim unless we had a lot of maths going on behind, some sort of UI element saying you have to aim here. But then, why not just have them aim at the enemy in the first place? It just felt like a unnecessary addition.